I watched my great-grandfather die and did nothing. This statement is now documented. I held a deep, burning resentment for my great-grandfather, a sinister old man who satiated his vile desires using my grandmother, my mother, and me as his victims. He was a nightmare incarnate, abusive towards his wife, repeatedly threatening her life. One disturbing incident forced us to call the police when he threatened to harm innocent pedestrians with his firearm. Living just a block away from his house when I lived with my parents, I found myself unwillingly occupying the front seat to his incapacitating end. One seemingly ordinary evening, after returning from work, an unusual sight of him gasping for breath, sitting on his porch, caught my eye. Compelled by curiosity, yet riddled by distaste, I retreated to the refuge of my home, occasionally glimpsing at his struggling figure. Time seemed to be in slow motion as he finally succumbed, collapsing onto himself. I stood by, no longer a victim, but a silent spectator to his anguish. Eventually, my great-grandmother discovered his body, kneeling helplessly beside him, consumed by grief that I could not share. When the sirens wailed and the authorities arrived, my feelings remained untouched. But when they zipped his lifeless body into a bag, I felt an incredible weight lift from my shoulders, a feeling I will never forget. Relief, satisfaction. I even laughed, knowing he could no longer harm anyone. Is it a secret? Sure. Not even my mother knows I silently witnessed all this, knows that a call to 911 could have potentially spared him. I keep it to myself because despite his atrocities, many in my family remained blind to the monster he was. They were upset that my mother and I didn't join them to mourn his death. But mourn a man who has caused so much pain? Never. In a different world, I'd express my disdain more openly, much more disrespectfully. But one thing is clear, the relief of his departure and the liberation it brought. And that's something I'd never apologize for.